Good morning and welcome to another interesting edition of the GrandeSportsCenter right here on Grand Sports Extra. I'm Donald Agbavobo. We have a tight package for you as usual on the program, and I must let you know that it's always a pleasure to be here with you. On the program today, we shall be looking at the situation in the Super Eagles. There's a brewing row over paid bonuses for the Super Eagles players. They said they've accumulated about an 18-month backlog of unpaid bonuses for Super Eagles players. So all the while they've been playing matches for Nigeria, talking about the foreign-based players, and their allowances have not been paid, and this has amounted to about 18-month backlog. And ahead of the next round of matches in March, when they will play the next round of the qualifiers for the AFCON 2021, the players, we understand, are threatening a showdown with the NFF over this unpaid bonuses. They were actually supposed to have done that before the match against Sierra Leone, but because of the outcome, which ended 4-4, they feared they had no local standee to actually agitate. But then now they're talking about confronting the Nigerian Football Federation with regard to this issue and possibility of a strike. Well, we don't pray for that. We shall be talking about this issue on the program today. Also, the Super Eagles of Nigeria ended the year in 35th position in the world. That is their position on the latest FIFA ranking, and 35 in the world, 35th in the world, and 4th in Africa. That's where they ended. And 2020 has not been such a good year for Super Eagles. In the 4 matches they played, they recorded 3 draws and 1 loss. So no victory throughout the year 2020. I'm not sure Nigeria has ever added this bad in the course of a year. So we shall be looking at Super Eagles poor outing in the year 2020. The Flying Eagles, well, we're still waiting for the match between Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire to see if they have any chance of progressing in the ongoing WAFU B zonal qualifiers, which is the qualifiers for the 2021 Under-20 AFCON. The Flying Eagles, as you may recall, lost to Ghana by 1-0, which now leaves their chance of qualifying in the balance. But then former Flying Eagles coach John Obo has pointed fingers at distractions caused by scouts. Scouts they said the presence of scouts at the camp of the Flying Eagles may have distracted the players from what is at hand, the task at hand, and hence we had recorded the results they recorded. Well, we shall be looking at this allegation and looking at the feasibility of such a thing ever happening. And given the fact that recently the NFF has also come up with a stand that henceforth scouts will be barred from Super Eagles camp. So this issue of scout in the national team, it's probably something that we should take a look at, and we shall be talking about that in the course of the program today. The Tigers, talking about the men national basketball team of Nigeria, they are riding high. They just did very well the Afro-Basket qualifiers in Rwanda, where they won all 3 matches. They are ending the year as #1 ranked team in Africa by FIFA, and they also moved 1 step in the world ranking from 23rd to 22nd in the world, and they remain #1 in Africa. Shall be looking at that, and also taking a review of Europa League matches we played yesterday. That is bringing to an end the group matches for this year's Europa League. So we should be looking at the outcome of those matches, and also looking at some of the teams that made it through to the knockout phase. In boxing, Anthony Joshua Kubrat Pulev fight will coming up tomorrow, Saturday, in London, and Anthony Joshua has said for now is focused solely on that fight. No more talk about Tyson Fury for now, as he's concentrating on the fight against Kubrat Pulev. We can say that this is a welcome development, because some of us have actually been talking about distractions caused by focusing on another fight against Tyson Fury, which will only come up if he beats Kubrat Pulev. So for him to have decided to focus on Kubrat Pulev, which is the task he had at hand, is really a welcome development. We shall be talking about this as we come down to that match in London tomorrow. Lewis Hamilton, finally, the results have come. He tested negative to coronavirus, and he is back. And now, after being in isolation for a number of days, weeks, so we will be competing in this weekend's Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. And this and more, also Super Eagles Watch, where we'll take a look at the performance of Super Eagles players in Europe and across the world, and also today's in sports history, time permitting. These and more we have for you on the program, so sit back and enjoy yourself. I'm joined as usual on the program today by Austin Arume.
It's always my pleasure to be here.
And Blessing Bassi.
Good to be here.
We should try to make it a worthwhile time with us on the program today. We'll take a short break, and when we return, we'll go straight into the main business of the day. Welcome back to the Grand Sports Center, and moving on straight away to the first issue we'll be looking at, the possibility of the Super Eagles going on strike. I pray it doesn't come to that, but this is where we are heading unless the Nigerian Football Federation is able to come up with the money to pay for the backlog of bonuses, which you understand we have an 18-month backlog of unpaid bonuses for Super Eagles players. Well, like I said earlier in the preamble, I said they had actually threatened a showdown before the match against Sierra Leone, or after the match against Sierra Leone, but the outcome of the match, which ended 4-4, and the mood of the nation discouraged them from going ahead with such planned action. But now they're saying that ahead of the next round of matches in March, when they have to play against Benin and Lesotho, they will be taking action. They want their money paid. The players have a right to ask for their money. Austin, this scenario, these are things we used to have in the past, not in present day. In recent times, we've never had any row over bonuses. Maybe they have been there, but it has not reached this stage where the players are not threatening strike.
Yeah.
What do you make of this situation?
I think what actually happened here, 18 months, that's over 2 years. It means, this thing has been ongoing. Probably, maybe because of the fact that, these guys are patriotic. They've not been saying anything. But right now, they are now speaking up, and, it's not a good thing, to be hearing something like this, considering Nigeria is blessed. Even one will begin to imagine even countries with lesser resources than we have. They are managing their team quite well, and this is part of the reason why we lose our talent to some other countries at times. You see players not wanting to play for Nigeria because of these issues. But then these players, most of them, I think almost all of them, they are above this money. It's not like they are not above it, but then this is their right. And I feel each time they come to play for their country, they'll feel though this money is meager compared to what they earn at their club side, but then I've worked for it. Why don't you give me my money? The matter, as a matter of fact, it was there, before the match against Sierra Leone. But what actually happened was that, after the capitulated against Sierra Leone, there was actually this proposed plan to strike, while they were to go for the away match. But then when they drew that match, I think it's
the mood of the nation.
Yeah. So they were actually looking for a way to pacify everybody.
It means that they are still considerate, given the fact that, despite the fact that they are asking for their money, they shelved the planned strike before the second leg match, because they actually gauge the mood of the nation, knew that such a strike will amount to real indiscipline and lack of patriotism, as most people will read it then, because there was an issue at hand at that time. More important, getting a result in Freetown. But now they're saying they need their money, just like Austin pointed out. It shouldn't have gotten to this point. Blessing, this 18 months, I'm sure that in the last 18 months, the NFF had some money coming that they would have used to offset some of these things. It is purely lack of commitment on the part of the administrators, the NFF now, that has gotten us to this stage?
Yeah, I think it's obviously not fair to hold players and probably the technical crew, whoever is involved, the players' allowances, the money that, they are owing them is not really okay. This NFF gets, like you said, they get money. Even the one we heard about the fact that the FIFA yes, give them money for certain, purposes. These are money that are supposed to be, evenly distributed. But obviously now we are hearing stories that these players are owed for a period of time, which is not okay. These people have the money, so I think it's just the lack of commitment to follow up with what is needed to be done, especially with the fact that we know that everybody should be given, certain privileges, and they have certain rights to get what they want.
Exactly, and for the football, for the players now, just like the Blessing said, they have every right to agitate and ask for their money. But then strike is strike the only option available to them.
I don't think
Should the NFF not meet up with?
I don't think striking at this point is an option. You know, considering you are not actually, you know, playing for the money. Most of these guys, if they are Nigerians, so coming to play for your country, it should be a thing of honor to you. But then you have to pass the message, which is the most important thing. But you don't have to pass it by, you know, embarking on strike. For God's sake, we are Nigerians and we are doing this for Nigeria. So if you want to go, if you want to complain about a certain thing, there are ways you can go about it, not you know, striking.
Because even not for any other reason, the image of the country is at stake. How can a country like Nigeria, have the players in this age and time going on strike over unpaid bonuses? I'm sure there are even Nigerians out there, if they know that actually there's this problem and the players are not willing to play, they will say, okay, come and play, I'll pay. I'm very sure that one or two Nigerians are out there that can even offset this money from their pockets. But then the NFF needs to reach out and show more commitment and show more understanding with the plight of the players, because I feel that for them to have understood this point to this point, playing for the last 18 months and without these allowances, it shows that they know that actually the NFF is having some challenges, and more discussions will definitely give more room for more allowances for the NFF to get this thing done. We just hope that it doesn't get to the point of players going on strike or boycotting our next round of matches. Probably that's why the NFF is already talking about home-based players. I'm just preempting home-based players. So should these foreign players refuse to honor our invitation next time, probably the fact that we are now going to have home-based players 2 weeks before the foreign players come gives us an option. But then that's not the way it should be handled. Players should not be owed. It's their entitlement, and they should be paid accordingly. We shall still be talking about Nigerian football because it's related. The next issue, so we'll not be going on any break. It has to do with the Super Eagles, the position on the FIFA ranking, 35th in the world and 4th in Africa. They didn't move. Their position from last month's ranking did not change, and generally looking at the performance of the team this year, because of COVID-19, not much. They didn't actually engage in much football. But then the four matches the team played this year, there was no single victory. The Super Eagles had recorded 3 draws and 1 loss in the year 2020. Blessing. How would you actually rate the Super Eagles' performance? You've seen the record is there, but is this good enough?
Well, if you ask me, it's not good enough, especially with the ranking and everything surrounding football in Nigeria and what is actually going on with the state of football in Nigeria. There have been issues where we haven't played football in a while, yes, and our poor performances too relate to us still sticking to that 35th. It's as good as, you know, dropping in the FIFA ranking, because we were supposed to be looking forward towards, you know, going, you know, higher and better, you know, at a point where even on top in the ranking. So why are we in this position? You know, we need to, you know, work on the governing body of football in Nigeria need to work on the fact that football needs to be, you know, taken to a priority where we will enjoy the game of football in Nigeria, because in as much as we enjoy the game of football outside, we should enjoy our football in Nigeria.
And Austin, is this an indictment? Is the present position of the Super Eagles and the fact that they did not win any match in 2020 is an indictment on the capacity of Kulochke draw? Are we now beginning to see something we've not been seeing before, or probably that the initial that were carried away by qualifying for the Nations Cup and the World Cup, undermining the manner in which we did it? Fine, very good way we qualified before the last round of matches, like we've been singing. But then the issue of the way the team plays has always been an issue. The general team has not actually been actually overwhelming their opponent. They've been getting the results too. Yeah. But now, is it that the bubble has burst, and we can begin to see much more beyond the results?
Uh, first of all, I would like to say I am a bit surprised, with the whole ranking, because I was expecting Nigeria to drop like 3 or 4 places, but then, still 35th in the world, 4th in Africa. I think it's fair from FIFA. Then talking about Grande, I think I've been saying it, time without number actually, that I think part of what actually helped Grande when he first came was the fact that we had players, that I'll say they are leaders in the team. And right now, when I look at this team, all I see is, bunch of youngsters coming up, still, even though they are good technically, they still need that leadership ability. They need somebody who has that leadership ability to pull all of them together. And then talking about his performance, I just want to direct our attention to a certain player, Paul Onaoshu.
Because why I'm talking about performance, because the ranking of your team reflects, it's a reflection of how we've done.
Yeah.
If you had come in and we were okay at some point, we were even lower than this, fair to him, but we've come up recent time, and if we had come in and we've seen Super Eagles ranked 21, 20, I don't want to talk about higher ranking, just to be modest. That's fine. Okay, there's been a change, but it's been hovering around this 35, 31, 35, 37, all around this year. So that's what I'm talking about is performance, because it's a reflection.
Yeah, I think at this point, I'll say he has been exposed. If you saw that game in Benin, at one point, we're playing like there was no pattern.
No direction.
No direction at all. And then we have, I was just about to talk about Paul Onaoshu, the situation of Paul Onaoshu. We have a guy who is, on form. The guy is scoring goals for fun in Europe. Then you see him coming to Nigeria, he's finding it difficult. Why not look for a way? Must you to accommodate this guy? Must it be that you are so so rigid that you cannot even transform or change a bit, or there's no plan B? We don't understand. You have a Paul Onaoshu who is tall. This guy is strong. I know he knows how to make runs. So this whole idea, I think at times it gets me thinking, is it that he does not really understand, the game? I know he has played the game, and at times his decision makes me want to question his understanding of the game.
Well, bless him, 35 in the world. Senegal is stopping. They've been there for ages. Nobody is even threatening to untopple them from that position. Senegal and Nigeria. I'm just trying to look at the contrast. Two West African countries, good footballing nations. In terms of pedigree, Nigeria has more than Senegal. In terms of quality of players, we have quality players. Senegal has its own fair share of quality players. Nigeria has its own fair share of quality players. Then what are the Senegalese actually doing right that we may not be doing right at the moment?
Well, I think everything boils down to the league, the events, yes, going on in Nigeria. If there were to be, consistent footballing events, and the fact that COVID-19 must have, affected a lot of things, especially when it comes to football, I think that is basically what affected, the performance of the Nigerian national team. And comparing to Senegalese, they probably know how to put themselves together, and obviously their league too was going on too at a point. But I think Nigeria has this issue of not, if the league had gone on at a point, because there were issues of postponements postponing of league starting at various points. But if the league had commenced, at least to an extent, we know that yes, it would have taken us somewhere.
Yes, indeed. Well, we just hope that this 2020, as it's ending, some of the poor results of the Super Eagles will end with it, and next year will be a much better year for the Super Eagles and for Nigerian football generally, because we're still not even done with the poor performance of Nigerian teams. The Flying Eagles, too, are giving a lot of cause for worries. Some Nigerians I know have not slept since Wednesday when the Flying Eagles lost to Ghana. Not just because they lost, but they lost to Ghana. You know, the rivals Nigeria and Ghana, especially at this level of football. But then their fate of progressing in the WAFU B zonal qualifiers, which is qualifiers for the 2021 AFCON Under 20 Championship, is hanging in the balance. And some former coach of Flying Eagles, John Obu, is saying that the reasons for the Flying Eagles' poor performance is not far-fetched. It has to do with the presence of scouts in the camp of the team. So we shall be exploring this issue of scout, because we may recall that sometime after the Nigerian-Sierra Leone match, one of the resolutions the NFF came up with after their meeting with the Minister of Sports is that scouts henceforth will be barred from Super Eagles fans, from Super Eagles camp, which means scouts really have a role to play in determining how teams perform. If it's so, why have they been allowed to persist so long in terms of causing distraction in the camp of various national teams? Did they have to take a bad result for the football ambassadors to know that these scouts are not supposed to come near the camp of various national teams? We shall explore more of this when we come back from this short break. The GrandeSportsCenter, I was talking before the break about the presence of scouts in national team camp, and that's what's going to form our next line of discussion. The former Flying Eagles coach John Obu has laid the blame on the table of scouts. He said the scouts contributed to the team's defeat to Ghana and general poor performance in the ongoing WAFU B zonal qualifiers. As he said, scouts caused distractions. He's been there. He was the coach of Flying Eagles in 2013 when they won the AFCON the 20 AFCON in South Africa. So he has been part of the Flying Eagles in the past, and he knows what happens at this level of football. But not just at this level of football, even the Super Eagles camp, the NFF recently came up with a resolution that scouts will henceforth be barred from the Super Eagles camp. So, Austin, scouts, did we have to have a poor outing against Sierra Leone first, and now perform badly at the WAFU zonal qualifiers for the football authorities to know, or not just the authorities now, because both the administrators and the general football family, the players and coaches, to know that scouts are having a bad influence on the performance of our national team?
I think it's kind of funny, that each time we have an issue like this, we try to shift blame. If scout coming into the camp will be a distraction, why allow them in the first place? But the situation here is that because of we are so money conscious, let me use that word, a lot of people around there are so money conscious. What they want to do is actually set up some of these players and earn money from it. So I think there's always an arrangement within the team. But then we all know that will be a distraction for players. If you have a situation where you are preparing for a match and then somebody is coming to tell you about a club that is looking for you, you are already distracting the player from the assignment already. So I think this is not what we should be talking about. If a club, if a scout is looking for a player, he knows where to go and look for the player, not the camp of the Flying Eagles, not the camp of the Super Eagles. So I think it's a very, very bad thing for scouts to be in the camp of our teams.
And every national team has a coach, an assistant coach, a curator, a team secretary. These all form the officials in the team, and everybody has responsibility to ensure that the players concentrate on the assignment at hand. So is it really about the scouts now? Why is it not even more proper for us to focus on the management of the team itself, looking at the coaches and all those that have been charged with the responsibility of managing the team generally. Because if they enforce the rule, if they enforce rules and regulations, the scouts will not even come near the players. What do you think?
Exactly, you actually said it all, because like you said, there are different managerial roles, and different people are assigned to various positions, you know. But I definitely think that if these people have their role to play, especially um, in um, in football, I think they should rather focus on their jobs. And if scouts could be a reason for distraction, then they should try as much as possible to avoid it, especially if a game is set to commence at that point. So they shouldn't they shouldn't use scouts as an excuse for their loss
Yes,
at this
indeed.
point.
Yes, indeed. They shouldn't use scouts because scouts will always come. You can't bar them. That's what I know. But all you can do is that you enforce the rules and regulations. You say scouts are not allowed in Super Eagles camp. They are not allowed in Super Eagles camp. But it's now up to the administrators, talking about the people in charge of the team, the coaches, and all the backroom staff to ensure this is done. For the players themselves, are they not also part of the problem? Because now, once they get invitation to national team, whether it's under 20, under 17, under 16, people come around and they feel that this is their ticket to play professional football abroad, and they started listening to these players at the detriment of concentrating on what they came to the camp to do. So, are they not also part of it? Is it not high time our players begin to realize that national team assignment is it's a call to duty, and when they are there, it's not time to start looking out for scouts that will come and discuss contracts with them with foreign clubs?
I think part of the reason we keep having this problem is this issue of them being owed backlog of allowances. We are talking about the Super Eagles here. Who knows what's happening with the Falcons? Who knows what's happening with the Falconets? Who knows what's happening even with the Flying Eagles? So every time you have a chance to play for the national team, you feel it's an opportunity for you to show yourself. And I think that's the problem. Now, we have a situation where these players are not being taken care of by when they come to play for the national side. So you see it as as an opportunity for you to take that step, because you know that once you get there, you don't get to worry about the money issue again. So I think that's part of the problem, and we have to solve it so that we'll not be having this kind of issue.
And blessing, don't you think that the scouts themselves are even being very lazy, or could they also boil down to the fact that there are no football activities presently in the country? So the only place where football is taking place is the camp of the various national teams who are in camp. So probably if the league was going on, the scouts will go to the various league centers and see where they can see good players from. And also the fact that the league was not even on television last season, probably they could also sit wherever they are and watch Nigerian league. If they could watch Nigerian league from the television, they could also be able to identify players. So for now, the way things are, the only place where they can actually see Nigerian players perform, at least a kind of a one-stop center where they know that they will have a pool of talents to select from, is in national camps. Probably, don't you think that it's also a problem that the league is not starting, and the only place the scouts can go to scout for talent at the moment could probably be the various national team camps?
Well, should I use the word that the scouts are obviously hustlers? They obviously have to do their, should I say, do their business one way or the other. It's just like every, business-minded person. You go to a place where you know that you can obviously, get clients. That is exactly what's going on with the scouts. So I don't think the scouts is obviously an issue, and if it is an issue, then let them not be part of, a distraction, especially to players.
Because we have what it takes to deal with it. It's just for the administrators to take the bull by the horn and enforce all the rules and regulations as regards camping of players in Nigeria, and I'm sure that all these things will come to a stop. It's still the GrandeSportsCenter. We shall take a short break and we'll come back. We'll talk basketball as we continue to celebrate the Tigers after the Afro Basket Championship in Rwanda, where they did so well. They've also ended the year on a very good note, moving one spot from 23rd to 22nd in the world and maintaining their top position as #1 ranked team in Africa. We'll talk about the Tigers after this short break. Welcome back to the Grand Sports Center, and it's about the Tigers now. We continue to celebrate them as we are yet to even fully digest and fully celebrate or get over their performance in Rwanda, where they did so very well, winning the AfroBasket qualifiers out there. And they've also come up with a good news from FIBA that they have moved one step higher from 23rd position in the world to 22nd and maintaining their #1 position in Africa. Well, if we are talking about the football team not doing so well, we can't say the same about the basketballers. Yeah. They've actually been up there this year.
Yeah, I think so far so good. It's not only this year. I think the team is actually started from the last FIBA World Cup, where we were able to beat China. I think that defeat of China actually gave us that belief, because as at that point, China was ahead of Nigeria. And then for us to beat them, it means, we have what it takes to, beat any team in the world. So I think at this point in time, we have a team whose stock is rising. And then right now is a good time to, actually back up what has been happening, because if you look at what is happening right now, just like football, we have our basketballers playing in the best leagues, the NBA. You go to the Europe League. They have also Champions League in Europe for basketball teams. We have our boys, participating in the team. But why I'm happy about the prospect of basketball in Nigeria, you can imagine. In 2020 alone, we have 8 players who actually been inducted into the NBA, and a lot of them are actually itching to come and play for Nigeria. And if you ask me, I think it's a good one.
The pool of talent is there, and the future of basketball in Nigeria is bright, right?
Yes, the future of basketball is bright. It's actually paying off. The time will come when we'll begin to talk about, experienced players both internationally and within Nigeria when it comes to basketball. The fact that the work, their consistent, their consistency when it comes to, playing, wanting to play on and off the pitch is also paying off. The fact that it will get to a time where the Nigerian Tigers will be like probably the LA Lakers of the US.
And they'll become the top team, already the top team in Africa, and they begin to rub shoulders with the likes of the US and Spain, talking about the top teams in the world. Well, that's what we're looking forward to. But surprisingly, the Nigerian local league has not actually been on, but it has not affected the Tigers. So we are saying the footballers, I don't know why we keep on relating them with football. We're not trying to compare, but you can't help but look at the contrasting scenarios and the contrasting fortunes. And you kind of say, because of leadership tussle, the Basketball Federation, NBBF, is embroiled in a leadership tussle, and they have a case in court. That's why the league is not beyond. But then it has not actually affected the national team, which shows that the issues of the national team, they've tried as much as possible to take it away from what is happening domestically, and so far they've been able to manage it very well.
Yeah, I think part of the reason why these guys are performing even while our league is not on is because of the fact that I don't know what is it with Nigerians. we have this fighting spirit. In as much as the league is not on, I know the boys are training. I know one or two teams, they get to arrange friendly matches, and they play it in a very competitive way. And is sort of encouragement for them. But then one thing we have going for us is the fact that in as much as our league is not on, we know that these guys they are training, and then if you expose them to a higher facility than what we have in Nigeria, you see that the talent will start coming out. And I think that is why it's like that for us. Even when it seems we are not serious, we are still making waves. It's like that with football as well. We're talking about our league not running very well. You see our players going out, and they are showing the rest of the world that we Nigerians we know how to play football. And I think if we can manage our facilities, if we can have a consistent plan, for our sports in Nigeria, I think we'll be rubbing shoulders with major, the top sporting countries all in the world, not only in Africa.
The Basketball Federation, I have a foreign coach, Michael Brown, and he was former coach of the Detroit Pistons, and a highly qualified coach, the coach in the NBA. So, and we saw his impact in the team at the AfroBasket qualifiers in Rwanda. Nigeria has a foreign football coach in Ganatroa. The Nigerian Cricket Federation recently employed a new coach, a foreign coach, Asaka Kubushina. So the foreign coaches. So obviously, the influence of these foreigners in Nigerian sport is beginning to yield positive results, you might say.
Yes. I think I'll borrow a word from Austin: exposure. When a player is being exposed, mostly anybody per se, exposed to, let's say, international players, that probably motivates you one way or the other, or exposure to, a foreign tactics, those kind of things really prompts, performance, especially in a player. Recently, Mike Brown, the coach of the Tigers, said we had experienced players, in Nigeria when it comes to basketball. Yes, we do. If we are able to, work on what we have, and improve the game of basketball in Nigeria and also internationally, then we'll fly high.
We'll fly high indeed. So we'll continue to wish the Tigers best of luck, and we hope that even 2021 will even be better, because they will play in the Olympic Games, that they will probably surprise the world by getting medals for us. So they can't do it. Like we said, we have a rich pool of talents to select from, and on a good day, anything can happen. And just like Blessing and Austin have said, they could like Michael Brown in the saddle, he can actually take the team to places that you never expect. So wish the Tigers well. I pray that Nigerian basketball continues to grow and gets better. We'll take a short break, and when we return, we'll go back to Europe and talk football as we take a look at what happened last night in the Europa League matches played in Europe. Welcome back to the GrandeSportsCenter and straight to Europe, where we'll take a look at the Europa League matches that we played yesterday. So many matches played, so we can't even go through all of them, but I'm sure that the graphics will be showing on screen. very, very soon, so you get to see the various results. But looking at the teams that made it through, because this was the last round of matches, and you can see the graphics on the screen already. Those are the results of the matches, but we have teams already qualified for the knockout stage. For now, not much of a surprise of a team that did not make it or a team that made it through, because almost all the big teams that we expect to be through are through to the next round. Likes of Tottenham, the likes of AC Milan, the likes of Roma, despite Roma losing 3-1 to CSK Sofia against all expectations yesterday. The likes of Lille, the likes of Villarreal, the likes of Bayern Leverkusen, all through to the next round. So no surprises, right?
No surprise at all. Even though Roma actually lost yesterday, it was a game, they choose to experiment with, because they already qualified before yesterday. So they're actually looking for a way to tinker with the squad a bit. This season is a kind of an unusual season. It's not like the normal season where you have to wait for 2 weeks to play your next Europe match. Well, right now you're playing every week, and they'll be needing that rest. But then when you look at the performance of the top team, generally you see that I think it's actually is a good one, that we still have top teams qualifying to the next round, and then you have some other teams who are coming down to the next for the next round of 32. We have the likes of Manchester United, the likes of Shakhtar Donetsk, big teams that will add to already the already congested Europa League at the moment.
Yeah.
So if you look at this Europa League, I think it's going to be one of the most interesting Europa League season that you ever witness.
Yes, indeed. Interesting it is. Arsenal, they've gone through with 100% record. They beat Dundalk in the last match 4-2 yesterday. In their group, they won all their matches home and away. But the fortunes in the league is not the same. Europa League, they are riding and doing very well. How come this contrasting fortune? Does this indicate that we should not write off this Arsenal team yet?
Well, you are talking about Europa League. If you were to be talking about the Champions League, I would say, oh yeah, but this is the Europa League, so we expect that at least Arsenal is a big club. Yes, we expect that Arsenal should go through, and this obviously a group stage, and they've obviously advanced. So I think this is a period where Arsenal should go far in this competition, judging by the fact that they won all of their games in this group stage. So I think the knockouts should not going forward should not obviously be a problem for us now.
Yes, indeed. And Europa League, like we said, they have now left. They've now moved from the group stage to the knockout stage. So, and a lot of teams have dropped by the wayside, and a lot of teams have moved on. While some teams will be coming from the Champions League to be part of the Europa League. But unlike the Champions League, where many of Nigerian players, the Champions League fell by the wayside, the likes of Frank Oyeka with FC Midtjylland, the likes of Emmanuel Dennis and Club Brugge, and some of Nigerian players, Azubuike Okechukwu for Istanbul Besiktas. The European League still has a lot of Nigerian players campaigning. This is, for me, this is the interesting part of it for me, because we still have the likes of Offenham with Kevin Akpogoma in the race. We have the likes of Leicester, that's with likes of Kelechi Iheanacho and Ndidi, Fred Ndidi. Glasgow Rangers topped their group, and they have Leon Balogun, they have Joe Aribo, and they have Calvin Bassey. So Nigerian teams and clubs, Villarreal is still there with Samuel Chukwueze. So a lot of Nigerian players in the Europa League. So for me, Napoli is even still there with Victor Osimhen, as he's due to come back very soon from injury. So for me, Europa League holds a very big interest because Nigerian players playing there. So we hope that in the next round of matches, most of these teams involving Nigerian players too will be also to get over this next round and continue progress in the competition, because we're talking about the quality of the Nigerian national team. The more our players play in these big time competitions, the more our national team should be better, because they bring the experience they've gained to bear when they come to play for the Super Eagles. So much about the Europa League. We shall take another break and we will come back. We'll talk boxing as Anthony Joshua is looking forward with great relish to tomorrow's match with Kubrat Pulev. To the extent that he has said no more talk about possible fight with Tyson Fury, which shows that he wants maximum concentration as he looks ahead to that fight tomorrow. We shall be talking about that when we return from the short break. Welcome back to the Grand Sports Center. Moving on, the 12th of December is a D-Day for Anthony Joshua as he takes on Kubrat Pulev. We were talking about this fight last month that Anthony Joshua will fight Kubrat Pulev on the 12th of December. It was like it was light years away, but it's here, and good thing. You know, we're saying on the program that he needs to concentrate on this fight because there's so much talk, you know, about the fight against Tyson Fury, which are not yet even been signed. And we can only hold if he's able to beat Pulev. Yeah. So we're talking about the need for him to concentrate. So how good is it to know that he has finally decided that no more talk about Tyson Fury, it's all about Kubrat Pulev for now, though it's just 24 hours to time.
Yeah, I think that's what, you know, we've been trying to say, you know, since day one. You know, they were just talking about the fight between Joshua and Tyson Fury. But one thing they failed to recognize is the fact that, you know, Pulev is not a pushover. So far, so good. In I think in 28 matches, he has lost just once, and that was to Vladimir Klitschko. And we know how good Vladimir Klitschko is. I think that's the only defeat in his career. So if you are talking about Pulev in that light, you should not be thinking about Pulev. And you're thinking about Tyson Fury. If you are going to fight Fury, I think you should focus fully on Pulev, not talking about Tyson Fury. Because if you ask me, it's a distraction. You know, they're trying to distract the young man from his purpose, and I think it's not good. But then I just had to commend him this morning for coming out to say this point. I think that's just
24 hours to the time.
Just 24 hours to the time.
Enough to concentrate. Well, anyway, we wish Anthony Joshua the best because this is what should have done since the beginning of the week. Concentrate on Pulev. So we hope that 24 hours is enough it's enough concentration for him for the match. Well, we shall not be dwelling much on that fight because we've been talking about it all week and it's already at hand. So by tomorrow we should know the outcome of that fight. Moving on, we have Formula One. Lewis Hamilton has been in the air. He tested positive for COVID-19, and then he missed the Sakai Grand Prix as a result of that. But now we have good news that he's going to compete in the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix this weekend, which is the last race of the year. Since he has now tested negative for COVID-19, he has already won the championship. Even if he has tested negative for COVID-19. It's not just enough for him to just race. Must he compete in Abu Dhabi? Why would he want to compete in Abu Dhabi?
Of course, even if he doesn't compete, the fans will want him, you know, to obviously want to compete.
Sponsors and all those.
Yes. Lewis Hamilton is wanted anytime, any day, you know. So it's like there's no Formula One right now without Lewis Hamilton. So I think it's best if he's in good shape right now. I'm glad that he's better off, you know, despite what has, you know, gone on in
Yes, indeed. We are glad that he's well. He's still an arty. So Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, here we come. You're going to see the best of Lewis Hamilton. Sakai Grand Prix, unfortunately, they missed him. And we hope that he will still be in this kind of form when next year comes. So at least what the Sakai people missed, the fans at Sakai Grand Prix missed last week, to be able to make up for it next year. We are gradually coasting home on the program today, so we'll quickly take the roundup of Super Eagles players on Super Eagles Watch. I will start with Samuel Kalu, where we understand that he's getting back to full fitness. You know, he's been out injured. Samuel Kalu, he was actually injured when he played for Nigeria in October. He came back from that injury and was part of the Bordeaux match against Paris Saint-Germain. But then he suffered a reoccurrence. But now reports from France, AIOfootball.com reports that he's getting back to full fitness. So we should be seeing Samuel Kalu back to full fitness. So which is good for Super Eagles, because for one, I felt his absence in the match against Sierra Leone was one of the reasons why we didn't actually hit it so well, because he has a way of opening up defenses with his dribblings. Another player in the news is Folarin Balogun. Though he has not pledged his allegiance to Nigeria, he played for Arsenal. He's one of the young players in the Arsenal setup, because Arsenal have actually sealed up their qualification for the next round of the Europa League. Coach Arteta is permitted with a lot of young players, and he was part of those young players. He came in the match, he created a goal, and he also scored in Arsenal's 4-2 win over Dundalk. So his stock is rising. Folarin Balogun, we hope that he will not do towards the Bukayo Saka thing by playing for England, that he will prefer to play for Nigeria. Another player in the news is Paul Mokairo. He plays for Anderlecht. His goal for Anderlecht in their match against Real Antwerp has been selected as Anderlecht Goal of the Month for the month of November. So kudos to this young player. He's 20-year-old, another player that should be in the frame for the under-20 or even the Super Eagles. And finally, Henry Oyekuru, the last and not be end of this player, is he will leave Monaco in January, but where is he heading to? We understand that Galatasaray are in frame to sign him, but another new club has come in. CSK Moscow is also interested in getting him, so it remains to be seen where. But one certainty is that he's leaving Monaco because he has not been having regular playing times. He wants to seek greater fortunes elsewhere. It's either Galatasaray for now or CSK Moscow as we hear. We wish Oyekuru very well, one young talented player that we feel should be part of the Super Eagles if he's playing more regular club football. So that's the much we have on Super Eagles Watch, and this is where we wrap it up on today's show, the Grand Sports Center. We hope you've had a very nice time with us, as much as we've had, not just for today but all week. We'll be coming back next week on Monday with another interesting edition, as this is the last for the week, and as usual we'll be looking forward to having you join us once again. But tomorrow, Saturday, we'll be coming your way with another new program called the World League Roundup by 11. So do make it a date to join us. 11 World League Roundup, 2 hours of league football. We shall explore, analyze all the various top leagues in the world, and be rest assured that we have the best of analysts here to do that for us, just to keep you prepared for the weekend action of football that will be going on around the world. So the World League Roundup, the World League Show, will make its debut on the Grand Sport Extra tomorrow, and also Grand Sport Football, most likely channels. So we'll be looking forward to having you join us as usual. Thank you for being there for us. I'm Donald Agbavobo. I say thank you to Austin Arome for being here all week.
Thank you for having me.
And Blessing Basi.
It's a pleasure.
And on behalf of all of us and the entire production crew, have yourself a lovely weekend.